I want to take a moment to speak about the importance and just to clarify in regards to the Greenfeeds case. We've got an episode coming up this week, where we discuss solicitors' notes. This is not the transcript. We don't have the transcript of what was said on the stand. We've discussed prior solicitors' notes and records and that sort of stuff, which are very, very questionable. But I just want to, from Dreamcatcher Radio's perspective, is that I understand it's very difficult when people are giving evidence on the stand. My only caveat to that is there's a long period of time, and the questions being asked are actually really, really simple. And one would adverse themselves on the facts. And it appears to me in this case there's some collusion going on. But when someone is giving evidence on a witness stand, it can be a bit difficult, especially if your characteristics of that nature. So when you listen to this episode, is my and also I'll speak for Phil here as well. It's not to criticise or offend the individual involved. In this case, Richard Draycott. In my opinion, and in fact, I recognise that being a witness can be daunting, perhaps emotional, and deeply personal. However, the questions were simple. My grievance is also with the barrister cross-examining, having knowledge of previous witnesses. There's so many things that need to be explored, and we're as an external party looking at this, it's left so much to the open, so much ambiguity, in my opinion, and it's completely unnecessary. When you get to the end of the trial, you must be able to, I would imagine, come to the opinion: this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. But there's so much left open by everybody. Why didn't the HSE investigate? Why didn't the police investigate? Why did the tanker never get investigated? Why didn't logs get investigated? There's so much. Witnesses on the stand. Limited. Why didn't the defence put witnesses on the stand that were almost begging to go there? I mean, Ian explained that he begged to go on the stand. Why didn't that not happen? People come forward, in my mind, because they believe they have something important to contribute and they deserve respect. This didn't happen in this case in defence. It didn't happen. And defence counsel didn't cross-examine appropriately. And that could easily be measured. I'd challenge any of the defence barristers to come on the radio station and we'll go through their documents. But they won't, of course. I respect witnesses, but we must sit alongside the truth. And when questions are being asked, the idea is, or the principle should be, to get to the facts of the matter. Every detail where possible, every recollection, every statement as well. Because the jury, which are completely independent of anything, take inference, at the very least, from what a witness says. And that responsibility is enormous. But what I don't like is that where injustice is unveiling itself in a trial, where the narrative is set before the trial even starts. And I believe this is in the case for Gillian Leivers. She was set up to fail. And albeit she didn't fail on the witness stand, she just spoke from the heart. But the evidence needs to be examined with care, precision, and fairness. If, one would imagine that the defence would say, well, why didn't this happen? Why didn't this happen? it just doesn't make sense to me. But this is a message for anybody that we comment on the radio station. Is really, we're not there to be mean um, or anything like that. We're not looking to antagonize you. We're there to examine why it went so wrong, and that's been my statement from day one. So when I comment on what a witness has said, I do it with one purpose, really, in my opinion, to ensure what we rely on is accurate. Memory, of course, can be imperfect. In an instance like this, one would imagine that it's less so. I mean, perception can be influenced, I guess, by stress, fear, or passage of time. None of that is a criticism of me, but I go back to there's a massive gap for anybody to prepare to be a witness, and the questions that are being asked are very simple, very simple. And I'm not attacking anybody whatsoever. I'm not, and I just want to make that clear. And nor is Phil. Phil labours for hours going through paperwork. I just turn up 10 minutes beforehand saying, what we're going to go through today now. And that's it. We get going. But in this case, there's lots of assumptions and misunderstandings, which shouldn't be the case. It shouldn't be the case. But we've got to do our best, because this is an injustice, not only against the two men that tragically lost their lives, but also Gillian Leivers. And it does deserve the level of attention and scrutiny, and that's why we've got so many episodes. And trust me, there's more to come in regards to this. Until she's out, the story's not ended, in my opinion. So I just want to explain that for the listeners.